to sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that I wake again.
Welcome to the Wisdom Clinic here on Wellness Tuesdays. I am your host, Nadira Lewis, and I am excited again to be able to make it through such an amazing week already. I had a wonderful weekend, and I am here with my special guest, Sharmane Q. Harrison, Herbal Naturopath. Hey, Sharmane! Did you enjoy Thanksgiving?
I did. It was so relaxing for me. Me and my daughter, we just cuddled up on the couch and had pajamas on, and we watched the movies, and that was our Thanksgiving.
Awesome. Yeah, Thanksgiving for me was pretty much a relaxing day for me also. I didn't do a whole lot. I cooked but my son had to work, and then I just had to just take some time and just like really relax. I didn't have a lot of company. And it was really refreshing. So I didn't do a whole lot of things like I would normally would because most of my children, my daughter's in California with her husband, and my son came by later on. He decided to cook his own dinner this year. So that was interesting to see him go through that transition. But I'm interested today because today is kind of a goal. It's kind of a flow day for us. So I'm excited to kind of just discuss all things regarding yearly wellness. Now, I'm interested, Sharmane, for somebody like you who is a naturopath, who makes such amazing recipes. What was your Thanksgiving dinner like?
So, awesome question. So for my Thanksgiving dinner, I do mainly, everything is like plant-based for the most part. So I didn't actually go all out because even though they have people that are plant-based and they have a lot of different recipes, I'm like, I don't think I want to make a spread. It's just me and my daughter. So for the most part, we had, greens. We had some collard greens, and I made a really good chickpea cornbread. And then what else did we have? We had some fried mushrooms and some quinoa. We put the different onions, peppers, just made it real colorful. Had a nice little spread, but nothing too much. Nothing too much. We did have sweet potatoes, and just kind of went from there. So a lot of stuff was just like roasted, not too much going on. But it was delicious, very delicious, and just very relaxing.
Wow, that's amazing. I was thinking, it was funny because as I was cooking, I'm thinking, I wonder what Charmaine's making.
Yes.
I was thinking about that. That's amazing. So I know your daughter, she's used to the way your style of cooking because I'm sure you've been doing this for some while now while she was young enough to really comprehend. I'm sure she enjoyed that. So talk to us today about this yearly wellness thing. What can we do? The New Year's coming up. And this is the time where everybody starts putting in their New Year's resolutions. This is the time where people start planning for the year. I think this is the part of the year where people do their most planning is at the end of the year, because at the end of the year, that's when most of us are reflecting on a lot. So what talk to us today about yearly wellness? What is the first thing that go through your mind for you to come up with a title like yearly wellness?
Yes, so exactly what you said, reflection. That's exactly what it's about. So the end of the year, like you said, most people come into January and they're just kind of like, new year, new me, and they got all these goals and they're excited and the motivation is there. But, the motivation doesn't really last beyond about mid-February if you're a go-getter, because some people might go a week or two into the new year. Then they're like, okay, once they get back into the rhythm of going back to work, then they kind of fall off. But I know I really want to it's a reflection moment. That's what it's about, reflecting on what was your health goal at the start of the year. Did you have a health goal? Did you say, I was going to accomplish this and didn't? So that's what just kind of reflecting, because it's never too late. We're still in 2021. So it's not too late to actually go back and kind of like, okay, push that reset button and really get through it, and really kind of doing this broadcast. I really kind of want to help others to kind of dissect through um, what their goal was and why didn't they accomplish it, so they can continue to move forward to actually accomplishing their health goals. So I know at the beginning, the start of the year, I just moved to a new location. So, when you're moving, everything is fast, you're tired, you're still unpacking, or you move like I did and start fresh and you don't have anything. So you have to, buy. So I know for me, I moved at the beginning of the year, and I wasn't in the best shape at that time, because our weight fluctuates, and I was just kind of, I got caught up in the, I'm so tired, I'm this, I'm that. So, I'm going around and I'm just over consuming, foods and things like that. And I'm just like, okay, I had to slow down. Once I got settled in my place, though, I was able to get back on track. But I asked that because I know for me, I was able to accomplish one of my goals, which was to basically lose some more weight at the time. And I was able to do that. I'm very happy where I'm at now. But then, I just had to have a reflection moment. Like, did I hit all my health goals that I wanted to accomplish for the year? So that's basically what this call is today about with the broadcast, just reflection. What did you tell yourself at the start of the year that you were going to accomplish? Did you slow down, or did you just not accomplish it at all? And what kind of stopped you? What stopped you? Did you tell yourself, I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to hit the gym, because that's what we most do, right? Come January, I'm going to hit the gym after the holidays for real this time. That's our favorite line, for real this time. So, that's what I was thinking about as far as the reflection moment. Yeah.
I think too, as you were talking, this thought came through my mind. In the beginning, everybody's planning, and everybody, I believe, have the right intention. But I think somewhere what happens is where people may fall off. Of course, we know discipline plays a part of it, but I think also when you start to, in the beginning, you have that vision, you have that constant visual before you, but when you don't have a community or an accountability partner to actually how when they have those little exercising groups, and you got somebody that you're going with, or somebody that you're connected with. I think when you don't have an accountability partner, you don't have somebody there to help you stay motivated. And I mean not somebody that you're putting all of your strength and energy and them helping you. It's pretty much somebody that's on the same path as you. I think when you combine yourself with other people that are like-minded, that have similar or some of the same goals, and you're collectively doing it together, I think it makes it easier to last past a couple of months when it comes to your goal. And I think that happens in every area, when it comes to your mindset, when it comes to business, and as well as health, is that you have to set yourself up around people that are like-minded, that are going in the same direction that you're going in. So when you have those moments where you're reflecting or you're planning, you can say, you know what? This is what I see. This is the visual that I have before me. And this is what I'm going to continue to do. And I'm going to set myself up around people that are doing the same thing, so that I can stay motivated in those moments where I don't feel like I want to keep going.
Right, absolutely. And like this community is super important. It absolutely is. It's just like, if you go to the gym, you get a gym membership, and like for me, I know I love Zumba. I love the cycling classes at the gym. So when I go, there's a community of other individuals, and we got a certain day and a certain time that we do our classes. So it is exciting, because now you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna see so and so. We're gonna get on the cycle bike and we're gonna laugh and things like that. But honestly, most of the time, like when we're starting a year, we're telling ourselves that we're going to do better, and we're just trying to convince ourselves that we'll get there eventually. And that's another thing. And yes, but you're only going to get there if you start. You have to start. So community is as much, community is absolutely important. However, at the end of the day, you have to make a decision that is what you're going to do. You have to get up. If I chose not to get up and go to the gym, the community can be there all day, but they're going to be, they're waiting on me, or they're going to continue what they're doing and I'm going to just kind of be sitting there like, okay, well, I should have got up and went to the gym. So at the end of the day, it definitely boils down to self-discipline and lack of not lack of self-awareness, but self-awareness in general. And that's kind of what I teach through my online program when we open up. I'm like, self-awareness habits is so important, and I know, like, I'll go into Facebook groups and I see people asking other people like, well, what do you eat? Well, what workouts do you do? Well, where I've tried that didn't work for me. And the best meme I've seen on this year on Facebook is a meme that said, we all can do the same thing, the same workout, eat the same foods, but get different results. And that is so true. We have to stop comparing ourselves to other people's journey. And you have to start where you're at. Because when you do that, it's going to kind of keep you stagnant in where you're at. The point of reflecting is self-accountability. Focusing on where you're at now with your health journey and how you're going to be able to help push forward, so you're not on a hamster wheel of saying, new year, new me, this is what I'm going to do, but not really doing it, not getting past that February mark, like majority of people, because when they get back in the swing of working, and then they're back to where they started, running to get fast food, running to picking up these habits. Oh, it's Friday, I'm stressed out, let me go get a bottle from the liquor store.
I think it's important to prepare for those. I think also it's important to prepare for those moments where you're going to be squeezed and you're going to feel, because you're going to have some moments where you're going to be rushed. There are going to be some moments where you just got to go. And you have to, just like you prepare for every other area of your life, you have to prepare for your health goals. It's not something that you just say, oh, I want to do right now, and then I'm going to stop. You have to be intentional with the preparation part. We all start out great. Everybody starts out great when it's new, when it's fresh. But if you don't make the necessary preparation, it's gonna be for naught. You're gonna be starting out and you're gonna be like, oh wow, today I'm feeling liking it, tomorrow I'm not really feeling like it. Oh, I ran out of this, so I guess I'll just eat this instead. You have to be intentional. If you're not intentional, if you're not intentional with your decision to want to live better, you're not going to be intentional in your preparation. And if you're not intentional with your preparation, you're definitely not going to be intentional with the actionable part of being in good health.
That's absolutely important. It's just like, if you haven't gotten anywhere, with your goals, and like you said, if you keep going, you have to be intentional about it, or you're going to be on that hamster wheel of starting and stopping. Then you're going to have to ask yourself why. So with the planning, definitely start with writing down. Write down where you are. Write down where you want to go. Write down how you're going to get there. And it's not just write it down and stuff it in your drawer or put it on the dresser. No, write it down and literally put it on your refrigerator. Put it somewhere where you can look at it every day. Put it on your mirror of your dresser in your room. Put it somewhere where you're going to see it, because that's what's going to help you be accountable for you. Because you can have, accountability all day, but it starts with you getting up in the morning, making a decision that this is what you're going to do. Like you said, everything has to be intentional. And the only reason you should be, looking back when you're reflecting is to seeing, okay, this is what I've done. This is what hasn't worked. This is what's working. Where do I want to go? And seeing if you accomplish those milestones that you wanted. Because milestones, that's super important. I love milestones. I have that as part of my program, because if you don't have milestones, then you can't really see where you're going, or you're looking too far. That's another thing. When I was on my journey, I realized I was looking too far. I was too anxious. I was like, okay, this is where I'm at, but this is where I want to accomplish. What I want to accomplish is all the way over here, and I'm over the way looking, and it's so far away that it doesn't seem like it's a reality for me. So then you get discouraged. Yeah. So what you want to do is you definitely want to kind of create that milestone. Today, starting November 30th, that's today. I want you to write down, if you're viewing this, write down what your health goal is. Write down what you want to accomplish. And it doesn't have to be 30 days from now. Most people, they're like, oh, 30 days. It doesn't have to be 30 days. It can be this week. It can be tomorrow. because
Right.
that's the small steps. You want to make those small steps. It doesn't have to be, most people say, start later, focus on, 30-day window. No, start tomorrow, one day at a time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one day at a time also help when you pay when you're pacing yourself through a goal. It kind of you kind of get past that discouragement state, because it is when you look at, especially if you're overweight and you're like 2 3 2 300 pounds, it can you can feel anxious, because especially if you're running against time when it comes to heart health or diabetes or high blood pressure. You're running against time, so the anxiousness is going to be there. But what you have to do is everything, just like it took a process for you to get to where you are, in terms of your diet and your weight and your health, it's going to take time to get back to that place where you're actually, like you said, repairing your body. And I think those milestones that you're referring to kind of helps you stay encouraged. Those milestones kind of help keep you encouraged on the journey. It's not meant to replace. You still need the long-term goal to see exactly where you want to be. But those milestones just help keep you encouraged and help you look at each step that you overcome and see it as a closer step to your ultimate goal. I know for me, it's something that I have to be intentional even on a daily basis. And sometimes it can be tedious. But I realize when I think about where I have come from as far as my health is concerned, I have to be tedious because I don't want to deal with the health issues that I know that I'm prone to because of because of hereditary issues. So I know I have to be really intentional. I was in the Dollar General the other day, and I had this weird taste. It just came out of nowhere, a weird craving for Coke. And I haven't had a Coke I can't even tell you the last time I had a Coke. And I was sitting there and I was like, it was sitting in front of me. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, this really strong craving for Coke just came over me. And I was like, where is this coming from? And my 4-year-old and my 7-year-old said to me, no, don't drink the Coke, drink water. And I'm like, I'm not gonna buy it, but the it came over me so strong, and I thought, oh wow, I could just imagine what people are dealing with when they're trying to deal with sugar cravings. And so I thought, oh my gosh, what am I lacking that my body just all of a sudden desired a rush of the Coke? So I was standing there and I had to say to myself, are you going to let all that hard work and all that information that you learned go down the drain for one sip of this Coca-Cola? Or are you going to do the right thing? And the girls were like, Mom, drink water. And so I said, you know what? I snapped back into place and I was like, I'm not drinking that. Even though that desire is there, I probably wouldn't even drink it if I even tried to. So I got the water, and it's funny because I look back at that decision and I thought, woo, I'm so glad that I pushed past that. Anytime you're making a change to your diet, it takes 21 days to reform or form a habit. And I think what happens is once you get past that 20-day mark, it becomes routine and it becomes easier to get through decisions like that versus when you're first starting out. When you first starting out, it's like, oh, I can't fight through this. But after, a 21 days or more of doing it consistently, you might have a little bit of a struggle, but eventually it starts to be to you won't give in because you've already practiced doing what's right by your body and you won't have to submit. Like, I'm glad I didn't submit to that Coke because I would have been like beating myself up about it because that thing has like 80 grams of sugar. It's ridiculous.
Right. I think one of the biggest things that you said also was how, because that what you did was mindset also. Because definitely with the habit, it like you said, 21 or more days.
Mhm.
Because if you're looking at it, you looked at it from a different perspective than what most people will look at. Most people will be like, oh, well, it's Thanksgiving. I'm on my health kick. I'm not going to deprive myself. I'm gonna go ahead and drink this one. It's not gonna undo all of the work that I've done. It's not, and no, it's not. However, like you said, like, what's the point? Anytime I put something in my body, I'm asking myself, what's the point? If the answer is for taste, then it doesn't need to go in my body.
Mm.
because it's like it's a mindset thing. Because I see so many, I've saw so many stuff, like so many posts on Facebook where people are just like, "Oh, eat the cheesecake, sis. Go eat, do this. It's fine. It's okay. You can do this because it's not gonna undo all the hard work. You can enjoy, you can enjoy this. You can enjoy that." And it's just like, it's just one of those things that's kind of heartbreaking to me, because it's like you're looking at what you're putting in your body, this cheesecake or this in your body, you're putting this in your body as a treat. But I'm looking at it from the way it breaks down in the body, digestive system, the way it's going to break down and affect your body later on. And I'm not talking about in a physical aspect. I'm just talking about in general. And that's how I see it. But that's a mindset shift. I'm not going to look at putting something in my body that's going to break down into my waste, into my colon, or things like that, as a treat for my body. That's not a treat for my body. Fruit is a treat for my body.
That's good.
Something fresh, something something sweet, something something like that. Nice cream. We went over when we made nice cream on the Natural Nutrition broadcast. So that's going to be a treat for my body. But me eating Cheetos and cheese puffs on this one day, because that's a mindset shift that has to happen.
Yes, definitely. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we are going to come back in a few minutes after we have after our break, and we're going to continue our discussion on yearly wellness. If you are watching us on the replay, make sure you put hashtag replay, and we'll be back after this. Dira, author, life, and business coach, founder of the Becoming a Woman of Proverbs, Wisdom, and Entrepreneur Academy. Thanks so much for stopping by our site. Make sure you check out our on-demand courses. And if you have any questions or you would like to book a call with me, make sure you click the link below, and we'll go ahead and get you started on the way to becoming the best version of who you were ordained to be.
I want you to remember that God's created everything you see. He breathed it into existence. You remember when his people were caught up in slavery? He rescued them. What he did was he parted the sea, and he made a way for them, and then he delivered their enemies to them, and he unlocks wombs, and he provides water from a rock, and he provides manna from heaven, and he brought down the walls of Jericho. He froze the sun, allowing victory. He's toppled giants with tiny stones. He's brought fire from heaven. He's shut the mouths of lions. He preserved life in the belly of a well. He's fed thousands with a few loaves. He gives the weak strength. He heals the sick. He's made the blind see, the deaf hear, the mute speak, the lame walk, and he's overcome evil, and he's made a way through death for you and me by the death and the resurrection of his son, Jesus Christ, that we will live with him forever. We will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever and ever and ever. What are we afraid of? His resume is flawless. He controls everything. And he loves you.
All right. And we are back here in the Wellness Clinic, in the Wisdom Clinic, here on Wellness Tuesdays with our special guest, Sharmane Q. Harrison, Naturopath. And we have been discussing yearly wellness and how important it is to prepare your mindset for the goals that you're going to be setting for yourself in the coming year, and how to stay consistent. And one of those things we constantly talked about is making sure that our mindset is changed, making sure that we make a decision and that we're intentional about what we want to do so that we can be fulfilled and so that we can be able to make it through the year this time. Some of us have only made it a month. Some of us have only made it a few months. But let's be intentional this year. Let's make new habits now Don't wait till next year to form new habits. Start them now so that you can condition yourself to continue to do it. Because if you wait for a particular day to do it, then you're never going to stick to it, because you're going to be more focused on a particular day or an event versus a lifestyle.
Absolutely, definitely. And one of the ways we were speaking about was the milestones. That's the easiest way to go about that, to set up those milestones. So one of your first milestones, it, like I said, to write something down, write it down. And then, and just try to accomplish that. So a milestone could be, okay, well, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to buy cow milk the next time I go to the store. I'm going to buy plant-based milk. Start there, just the small stuff. Give yourself a deadline to accomplish it also. And if you don't accomplish that, by that certain time frame, then go back and ask yourself, go look at what you wrote down and ask yourself and self-assess, basically. Why didn't I accomplish that? Why didn't I do it? Well, can I go do it now? You have to have constant, reminders around you after you make that choice to do it. Have that constant reminder around you. Now, you want to make sure your milestones are realistic and attainable, because small steps create large change. So, sometimes we get to the point where we're just kind of like, oh, well, I want to lose 30 pounds in 5 days. And you're like, really? So you just kind of want to make sure that your milestones are realistic. Start off small. But most of the time, we don't get to where we want to because we're either, like I said, again, too busy looking so far and ahead of the future that it causes us anxiety. I know I've actually spoken with people who suffered from illnesses, and they're just like, Sharmane, I've been dealing with this for this long. I mean, at this point, it is what it is. And I'm just like, no, it crushes my heart. I'm like, you can't have that mindset. I know it's draining, but it is possible for you to get better, to become symptom free. But it's just really sad hearing people say that, because they get.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the point of me pushing for it? But it's absolutely necessary to push for it. It's absolutely necessary to push for it. And that brings me to another point. Like, you want to understand the importance of your body. We have to understand the importance of listening to our body. Remember earlier I spoke about how, we could all eat the same thing and do the same exercises, but we're all going to look different at the end of the day. We're all going to get different results because everybody's body is different. And we all have, different things going on. So for me, if I speak to somebody, that's why I'm like, when people come speak to me, I have to assess them, because I'm not going to put everyone in the same, program, as far as I'm going to have to tailor their program to their needs, because each person is different. So if somebody's coming to me for preventive maintenance, to be able to maintain their health, I'm going to address that differently than somebody versus somebody who's that's pre-diabetic. I have to address that. There's going to be a different level of detoxing and cleansing and restoring of their health. So, I always talk about that's so important. Detoxing, cleansing, and restoring of the gut health is so important. Everyone needs to understand their body. What needs to be understood about the body is the symptoms that you're experiencing, the illnesses that you're experiencing. No matter how minor it is, you are not going to get better if it sits in your body. A lot of people like to wait it out. That's not the answer. Waiting it out is not the answer. If you're experiencing stomach pains or chest pains or excessive weight, those are signs. That's a red flag. Hormonal imbalances, that's a red flag. Those things lead to other illnesses. So it was kind of heartbreaking when I spoke to that individual and they were like, I had it for so long, it is what it is. And I'm just like, but you're not going to get any better with it is what it is attitude. It's going to keep getting worse.
I think people resort to that because when they feel like they've tried, and I've often said that because I remember I had somebody, it was a family member that actually said the same thing. I had actually shared some of the things that I felt that could be helpful. And her response was, I've tried that. We've tried that for over a year and it didn't really change. It didn't really work. And I thought to myself, is it really that? And I don't doubt that she didn't try. But sometimes I wonder when I hear statements like that, if two things. If it's something that they may have done that kind of contradict what they were doing, because sometimes you could be you could be eating all the right foods and taking all the right herbs, but if you're doing other things that kind of come in and conflict with what you're doing, is almost like, but not everybody is going to always tell you everything that they do. They'll tell you, oh, it's just not working. And I like that you said that you evaluate each person differently, because sometimes, we know how people are. Sometimes they say it don't work, it ain't working, and you're like, well, how many times, or how often, how consistent? And the fact that, number two, you still can't eliminate the fact that you still have to get rid of the waste in your body. So there are a combination of things that have to take place to get you to the result that you want. But the only way you'll know is when you're talking to people, you start to see, and like I said, people are not going to tell you everything. They'll tell you, I tried it, it ain't work. It ain't work for me. But then you find out, and you look at, and you talk to them, and you find out that there's other things that they're doing that are contradicting everything that they're trying to do. And you're like, that's probably why it's not working. Yeah, so
absolutely, yes, definitely. Like, and I talk to people about that all the time. I love it though, because they get on the phone with me and I'm asking those questions, and I'm just like, so they're like, yeah, I eat healthy, I do this already, I tried this, I tried that. And then when I go back to the course of a year or course of 6 months, and then I'm going to ask those type of questions, and we're going to break it down, and then they're like, the truth is going to come out. Well, I did. Well, I guess I did. Well, I guess I could. And then I'm going to pick, because I know that it's something there that has to come out. And that's why I love the fact that, I do sit there and take that time and speak to people about like what's really going on. It's an nice intimate conversation about what's really going on. It's okay. It's okay to be transparent here. It's okay to be truthful here, because again, I think we're going in life. We're constantly going, we're constantly moving. So our brain is constantly going, that we don't ever just kind of sit down and breathe and reflect. What are we really doing? And then you have those individuals who are just like, well, yeah, I know I have these issues, I have these problems. It's like, okay, so what are we going to do about it? Let's move forward. How are we going to assess that? So that is super important. That's why I love making all the videos that I make. I spoke on fasting. I ask people, do you practice fasting? The importance of that is not giving illness anything to feed on. Giving the body a break. That's super important. Self-discipline. It's a self-discipline technique. I love it. I love fasting. It's an awakening experience. So when I go places, people are like, oh, well, I travel and, I can't eat healthy when I travel. Yes, you can. Or you can just practice fasting until you get to your destination or where you're going to go. Or if, you're at, a certain place doing something, you practice fasting is super important. That's a super important technique. And I also, so if anyone viewing has any questions also, please drop them below so I can address them also.
Definitely. I think too, when you're diabetic or, when you're dealing with other issues, the main thing is to focus on, well, I can't go this amount of time without eating. I can't go this amount of time without doing this or doing that, not realizing that. I like the way you said that you address fasting as giving your body a break. And I think perception is everything. I think when you can take something as complex as fasting and make it and exchange it for something like giving your body a break, I think the people will look at it differently, because then they'll be like, oh, okay, so now my body's about to, when I feel like I'm about to vomit or feel nauseous because I'm not eating, I should look at it as my body is getting a break.
Absolutely.
To help deal with that. That's a great point. That's a great point.
And again, it's all how you look at things. You say fasting and people, they look, oh, I'm starving myself. Oh, well, I can't have.
Right.
Oh my gosh, when is it going to be over?
Right. I remember I had a conversation with my mom earlier, and I said, oh wow, I realized I didn't even eat anything today. I had maybe something like really, really light. I mean, really light this morning at around like 11. And I hadn't eaten anything actually until maybe 10 minutes before the broadcast. Totally forgot. And I felt good. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, you haven't eaten all day. You're gonna faint. And this is coming from my mom is like, you would think she's Hispanic because she's feeding you all the time. When you go to her house, it's like, oh, it's 12 o'clock. It's time to eat. She's that clockwork type eating. Oh, it's 3 o'clock. That means it's time for this. This is a snack. It's 5 o'clock. It's time for dinner. Oh, it's 7 o'clock. So to see her, and she always asks me, what did you eat? And I'm like, oh, I didn't eat anything yet. What do you mean? And she always equates it to I'm gonna pass out. You're gonna get sick and pass out. It's been you haven't eaten anything since 11. It's almost 7 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, but I feel pretty good. I'm not really. This is one of those days where my body naturally is doing an intermittent fast. I'm not, leading it that way. I'm not forcing it. It's just doing that. And I'm okay with that. My body actually feels great. I don't feel sluggish. I don't feel tired. I don't feel like I'm starving. I was hungry. I had some quinoa rice and some turkey. And but I was just like, but I felt like I didn't feel like I was exhausted. And I love that. I love to eat and feel content and not eat and feel like I'm about to burst out of my clothes and like I'm about to fall asleep. I'm totally okay with living like this because if anything, it's given me not only does my body feel good, but there's clarity in mind. I'm able to get more things done because I'm focused. I'm not focusing on, oh, it's 3 o'clock, I gotta eat something. Oh, it's 5 o'clock, I gotta eat something. Now I am desiring some, and that's only because I have a friend of mine. She's one of my colleagues. She's been really into this health thing too, and she made some vegan chocolate. So I'm like in the store, like I gotta figure out how to do this vegan chocolate because I want some chocolate. And I was like, and so I have those moments like that, but I'm not even really snacking as much as I used to, which is interesting to me because I usually have a whole stack of snacks in my room, snacks downstairs, snacks in the garage, snacks always on deck somewhere. And
it's absolutely nothing wrong with snacking. It's just like I said, the ingredients. I kind of went over that with the natural nutrition. It's about the ingredients, what you're putting in it, and how often, you're consuming it. But overall, like you said a key word, and that was basically what you were saying, lifestyle diet. I spoke about that diet mindset versus the lifestyle change that you have to accomplish. So when it becomes a lifestyle, when you change your mindset, that's where you start at. When you have that self-awareness, now you can start to change your mindset into a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle. This is a part of my daily life. This is not a burden. You value it more because you're not looking at it from, oh, this is a burden. This is something I got to do to lose this weight. Oh, I have to do this to look like this. I have to do this. It becomes easier to sustain when you turn it into a lifestyle because it becomes a part of your life. You wake up, your taste buds have adjusted, things like that. Diets constantly lead to illness. I know because I've suffered. I was doing that same thing. I was like, well, I'm in the military, at the time I was like, I'm in the military. I'm eating this, I'm doing this, I'm running, I'm working out every day, and I kept doing this whole diet thing. Oh, what's that? What type of tea is that? Oh, well, I got this PT test, this physical training test coming up anyway, so let me go try it. Oh, what type? Detox tea? Oh, this. Oh, lemon water? Oh, this. Oh, keto? Okay, let me try that. And I kept trying different things. And then I would go back on Fridays and I'm drinking alcohol. And then, kind of confusing my body. It's like, do we want to be healthy or we don't? Which one are we doing?
Yeah.
So going back and forth, that stuff leads to illness. So when you actually make health a lifestyle, then everything, it starts to flow. Because you're not looking at it like a burden. You're waking up and you're just like, man, I feel great. I feel good. You wake up with energy. I wake up and guess what? I don't probably eat till about 10 o'clock, 10, maybe noon. And I don't even eat. I actually consume a smoothie. I'll make myself a smoothie or something. That's the first thing me and my daughter consume during the day is a smoothie. Because your body is detoxing in the morning time when you first wakes up. It's trying to, wake up gently. So not so harsh. You don't want to put all that harsh stuff in there. So we start our day off with a smoothie in the first thing in the morning, and I take my herbs. I did the video where I talked about spoke about the power of herbs, herbal medicine, is used for restoring our bodies, our organs, the tissue in our bodies. It helps because our bodies are mainly organic. Our bodies are made up of water. Our bodies need minerals. Our bodies, help us produce different vitamins and hormones in our, you know. So when you think about putting chemicals and toxins and waste and foreign things in our, and all these foreign things in our bodies, we want to make sure that that's not what we're doing. Herbal medicine, it helped me get rid of symptoms of an illness that disfigured, basically my appearance. My whole body was covered in pigmentation.
Yes. It's funny because I think most of us don't really think about it until we are actually sick, that we realize, oh my gosh, I have to do something. And you don't want to continue to wait until your body starts to feel triggered by a symptom or an illness before you actually start to do something about it. So the more you focus on trying to maintain a habit of trying to eat right and maintaining a habit of trying to not only eat right, but just allowing your body to rest while we're waiting for Sharmane to come back, her screen is stuck. But you want to make sure that you're getting also the proper rest. What good is it to do all the eating well if you're still running your body ragged? You still have to be able to rest properly. You still have to be able to, get in at least, a good healthy, 4 to 6 hours, or sometimes, the older you get, you need more hours of sleep. You need all of that. Your body is not going to just start out at a point where it's going to just be exactly where it is. You have to be intentional with resting also. And Charmaine, I was talking about resting and saying how rest is also just as important with the natural eating, because what good is it to have all the natural to eat right and you're still running your body ragged? You're still running 100 hours a day. And I know now people's schedules are intense based on whatever it is, a profession that they have, but you have to be intentional in resting also.
Absolutely. Resting is super important. I know for me being in the, when I was in the military, sleep deprivation off top. When we go to basic training, we're getting 3 hours of sleep, maybe if that. And then, 24-hour, we have 24-hour duty and things like that. So for me, my experience with sleep, oh my God, I value sleep so much, and it's not because that's what repairs our body. So when we're working out, throughout the day, if you exercise and if you're working out, your muscles have to repair, your tissues have to repair. Sleep is everything. So, I hear individuals like, oh, 3 hours and you're good. You sleep when you're dead. That's how you be successful in life. 3 hours of sleep. I don't believe in that at all. That's simply not true. The body requires, on average, people say 6 to 7 hours or 6 to 8 hours. Some say 7 to 8. Six is actually decent. I believe you can definitely do 6. But sleep is super vital to our health. It's vital to our mind. If we don't get sleep, we start to become delusional a lot of times because it messes with our gut health and it messes with our minds. That's where your serotonin is actually produced, that in your gut. That's the hormone that helps you, the happy hormone, I believe. And, you just want to make sure that you get to a point where you want to make sure you get sleep. Sleep is super important for growth, for our bodies, for all of it. Yes, absolutely. So I know I value my sleep a ton.
I had to learn that even over the past, I think, there are positive aspects to the season that we've had to go through with COVID, because I was running all the time. I was working around the clock, working inside the home, working from home, working outside of the home, being a full-time mom, and trying, there were so many things I was doing, and I was literally running myself. I would literally say to myself, man, I am super tired. Like, I am like really exhausted. And then when this whole COVID thing came, actually, I was like, oh my God, I actually get to rest.
Right.
It was like while everything else was going on, I remember thinking to myself, like, oh my God, I actually get to rest. So when we were supposed to be in during those 4 months, I think I slept the most during that time, and I felt my body really feel restored. I felt rejuvenated. I was able to get a lot of things done, and though it was a tragedy for a lot of other people and families that have lost loved ones, and it was an opportunity for me to be restored and to be renewed and to get focused on what it is that I'm supposed to do. And so there are some things that I had a chance to eliminate because I didn't have a choice. So, we have to we don't know what this coming year is going to be like. But even with all of our planning, you have to have rest as a part of that planning too.
Absolutely. And then there's another side to that too, because I did get to a point where I got so ill where I was resting to the point where I was sleeping because I was fatigued from the illness. So you just want to, again, it's a self-assessment. So if you're sleeping so much because you're suffering from an illness, that's a different underlying condition, because sleep is important, but again, like if you're sleeping, I gotta have 10 hours of sleep, you're feeling sluggish all the time, that's an illness. That's not natural. Your body going into a natural sleep aid or whatever, but you have to be careful with that too, because I know some people, they'll say, oh, I get my sleep, and they're sleeping 10 to 12 hours a day, and it's like, okay, that's unhealthy if you're constantly fatigued. So that's another underlying condition. So yeah.
And just think of it. If your body is fatigued after sleeping 10 to 12 hours, it's something that your body is communicating to you that it needs to slow down. So if you're sleeping, that illness is telling you that, wait a minute, my body is requiring attention. You don't want to get to the point to where you don't have any energy to function, because that's a really bad place to be at, because then now you're not going to be eating the way you should. You're going to be eating things that are quick. I know when I had this is when I had my 7-year-old. I didn't know my body was going through so many changes as an older woman having babies. And this was before I had Bella. I had lost lost 3 babies before Bella. I had 3 miscarriages back to back. And I remember I don't know, there was a pain that was coming from my chest, like right up here, the top part of my chest, all the way down my arm, and my fingers, like my 2 pinkies, like my pinky and my ring finger, was numb for months. And I went to the doctor, and they were like, and I was in so much pain. I mean, when I tell you I was in so much pain, I could not get out the bed. I was in so much pain for like 2 months. And I was like, what in the world? I'm sorry, it was like 4 months. And I was like, what in the world is going on? I went to the doctor. They was like, there's nothing that we can do. Their thing was, it's probably, on a muscular level. It's not anything. You're not having a heart attack. You're not having a stroke. And I'm like, you don't understand. I haven't felt my finger for months. Like, something is wrong. I'm having pain in my arm. And they were like, it's got to be muscular. But what happened was, after they were saying that maybe the baby was sitting on my nerve or something like that. But I was in so much pain, Sharmane, I couldn't even get off the couch. I couldn't get up. So when your body is racked with pain, you don't make the right choices, especially when you're eating. I was ordering pizza every day for the kids because I couldn't get up and cook. And my son was young. He was being homeschooled. If he wasn't there, I would have never survived being home by myself, because I couldn't get up to go to the door. I needed help going to the bathroom. I needed help showering. I didn't even go. I had an upstairs, downstairs. I couldn't even get up the stairs. So for months, I stayed downstairs, had to wait for my husband to get home to help me shower, because I could not get up at all. My best friend would come over, and they would, help me, with the kids and stuff like that. But I was like, I never want to feel that again. And I still didn't receive the feeling in my fingers for months after that. And when it came, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what that was. But yeah, sometimes your body, when you're in a position where your body is not functioning at its peak and you're sleeping, you're not going to make the best health choices as far as eating too.
Right. And that's exactly, it's when people get to that point, because have family members right now that's on social media, and they're suffering. They're connected to tubes and, in and out the hospital. It's just really sad to see.
Wow.
Because the thing is, when I speak to people, it's like you have to want the help. So I can't force, as much as I want to be like, just come do this and come, as much as I want, the person has to want to put in the work for themselves. But that's why I always tell people, I'm like, when you suffer like that, you have to self-assess. You have to, because you're literally writing yourself your own death certificate. When you sit up there and you're consuming what you're not supposed to be consuming, and you're, taking in these things, and you're just like, oh, that's how I am. You're literally writing yourself a death certificate. So that's what I want people to reflect on, like self-assess, like what have you done this year that you're with your health that you can self-reflect on, like, I could be doing better. I know I can do better. I need to do better. What is that one thing, those two things, those three things, however many things? Write it down, look at it, and do something about it. Do something about it. And if you don't know where to begin, I am one website away, one call away, and I will help you. I will absolutely help you. You can get on a call with me and we can do a discovery call to try to have a plan, try to assess and make a plan, because you don't have to suffer. You don't have to go around saying, well, this is how it is. You don't have to just settle. Well, the doctor told me that was it. The doctor told me the same thing. There's no cure. What you have is incurable. It'll go away maybe on its own, possibly. We don't know. If I would have never did anything, it would not have gone away. And this is a condition, like implantants was a condition that I suffered with, that the doctors told me was incurable, that had my hair falling out, my skin pigmented. And I said no. I said no. And they wanted to just experiment on me like a guinea pig and say, oh, just try this, just try that, just try this medication, just do that.
Wow.
So I made the decision that I wasn't going to sit there and deal with that. And that's what you have to do too. You have to make a decision where you're like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. I don't have to deal with this. And you have to self-assess. What am I doing that I could be doing better? You have to, or you're going to write your own death certificate.
Absolutely. You have to be intentional. And if you're not intentional, then what's going to happen is you're going to suffer as a result of your choices. And there's nothing anybody's going to be able to do for you. When you don't wait until your symptoms have overtaken you. And if you're in that moment and your symptoms have overtaken you, there's still hope. If you're living and you're breathing, you have to make a decision. And that's something only you can do. Nobody has the power to make decisions for you. People can influence you, they can encourage you, and they can motivate you, but you still have to be the one to make that decision. So we're going to go ahead and end our broadcast. If you have any questions for Sharmane in regards to your health concern, please don't wait until it's too late. Please reach out to her at www.healbynature.org and book a call with her and find out the steps that you need. Because as long as you're still breathing, that means you are still here. You have another chance. You have another chance to be able to get it right. Just there are some people I've watched on what's that program, the 600-pound life, and I've watched them. It's funny because the instructions that he gives them, it's always it's always the mindset and health change. And then they're expecting, oh, just come and just cut all the fat off of me. But he always starts with the health change. So you still have some control. You still have to contribute to your success and your goals that you want to achieve in your life. And if you don't do that, then, no other instruction outside of your will to do what's right is going to matter. It's going to matter. Sharmane, did you have any final thoughts for us before we actually end the broadcast?
You guys, if you need to book a call with me, you can go to www.healbynature.org. You can start your journey right here, right now. You don't have to wait. The biggest thing I always stress is the releasing of the you have to detox your body. You have to detox and cleanse. And I'm not talking about lemon water detox. I'm talking about an extensive herbal detox is going to push the waste out of your body completely and reset your body. Okay. So definitely book a call with me before the year is up. And just we can go from there, because you don't want to wait till January 1st to say new year, new me. You know, don't be like everyone else.
Absolutely. Well, you heard it first from our herbal naturopath, Sharmane Q. Harrison. Thank you guys for watching. If you are watching us on the replay, make sure you put hashtag replay, and we'll see you on Friday with our special guest this week on Sisterhood Check-In with Shalina Broster. So we'll see you on Friday. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful evening.